Looking to become a professional healthcare assistant? Then Therapeutic Hands Management is your training ground. We empower healthcare careers by offering a 4-month-long course inclusive of caregiving training program. The courses we offer include Healthcare Assistance or CNA, Palliative Care, Basic First Aid, Basic Life Support, and so much more. We also offer German language training. We are located in Westlands, Nairobi, and on Kibos Road, Car Wash, Bridge, Kisumu. We also offer online classes. All you need is to be 18 years and above and be a high school graduate. Join us in shaping the future of caregiving. To enroll, call us now. For our Nairobi branch, call 0722 590 457 or 0733 589 647. For our Kisumu branch, call 0733 589 643 or 0722 577 457. You can also drop us an email at info@thm.co.ke. Therapeutic Hands Management, empowering healthcare careers.
Coming up on the Rawder Kidula Show.
Following day when my brother, the firstborn brother, walked into his room and found him dead, the only thing he had was a rosary. Nothing else. He gave out everything. He planned for his funeral before he died. He didn't carry anything. And then he was just asleep as I had prayed to God. That was an answered prayer. Please, God, he has suffered so much. I used to tell my mom, you know his heart will just stop. And he'll be asleep when the heart will stop. And indeed, he was asleep when the heart stopped. So he was just sleeping. As my brothers tell me, and as everyone who saw him tell me, he was just asleep. He rested.
This is the Rawder Kidula Show.
Hi there, and welcome back to the Rawder Kidula Show. I hope that you're well, and thank you so much for being part of this channel, this community where we just encourage one another in our families, in our marriages, in our lives, knowing that God is on the throne no matter what you're going through, and families are thriving, people are thriving, and marriages are thriving. My name is Rawder Kidula. It's always a joy to be with you. Every Monday morning, we post a new video. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. And that will enable you to even know every time we post a video. Yes, so today, as you can see, we are in a different location. We're not outdoors because I'm at my friend's place. Hey. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Rawder.
How are you? I know that question. There's a time I asked you. I wanted to ask how you are doing, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
I went on WhatsApp and I was like, I'm like, Rawder, what do you expect? Why are you asking that question?
And unfortunately, when you're asked that question, you automatically, not knowing, in your subconscious might say, I'm good. Even when you're not good.
You're not good.
Yes.
Yeah, so evidently she's not good, and she'll tell us why. Thank you for welcoming us at your home.
Karibu sana.
It's such a cozy, quiet, peaceful place. I want to live here.
Full of color. I love
full of color. Yeah,
yes.
Full of color.
You're welcome.
And the place smells really nice. We had said we're not talking about R&B products today.
Yes.
But I visited the washroom. And that place smells nice. And I was asking Carol, what is it? I want it. What is it? Then she told me it's this.
Yes.
What is this?
This is a steam decongestant. It's a mixture of different essential oils. And you can tell I have a flu as well. And this is one of the things that I use to help, one, clear the air. Number two, also help with the decongested chest, flu, such things. So this is a mixture of healthy, good, natural, essential oils. You can add to hot water and clear the air. People who snore, people who are asthmatic.
How do you clear the air? You spray?
you don't. This one doesn't have a sprayer. This one has a sprayer. This one you put in hot water, very hot water. Place it when your windows are closed, and then you just either sniff, or you can use a blanket and cover yourself in. Like you put hot water in a bowl, put few drops and cover with a blanket and steam, and through inhale it. Steam. So in the washroom, I use it as an air freshener as well. So I'll just put like 3 drops in either the mat or somewhere, and then that's how you found it smelling really nice.
Then your bed.
Yes, my bed.
Oh, the bedroom smells really nice.
You're giving all my secrets. But it is well.
Tell us about this one now.
So this one is a bedding slumber spray. So I apply on it. It also it's a mixture of healthy, well structured and well organized, calculated essential oils that you need for you to first of all have a cozy bed and cozy sleep and quality sleep. It's a spray, so it's not just for the bed. You can even do that as an air freshener.
You're spraying my tea.
It's okay. There is no problem. I mean, they are edible. There is no problem. But that
it smells really
freshness.
Nice.
So these two have been my companions the last like 2 months, because sleep has disappeared, which maybe I'll tell you, and it helps me sleep. They help me sleep well, and they give me a comfortable sleeping time. Yes, so that is what I use in my house.
How much is this?
Oh God, can I remember?
Okay, we'll check on your website and maybe indicate here and the numbers to call if you need these products. But she has shops all over the country, and now we're even in Uganda,
United Kingdom, UK, and we are in South Africa. We are in Ghana.
We have specific numbers for those countries, so if you're interested, check the first comment of this video. I have all the numbers there.
So this, I mean, they're just an air fresheners. I think you can also attest to the fact that everything I teach you, you found it.
I found it. Oh, your kitchen. But there's no sugar. There's no honey. There's
just nothing. It's just herbs.
Herbs. No, this is hibiscus tea. And there's some...
tea masala.
Tea masala.
Yes.
Yeah. No, sugarless.
And you found hibiscus outside as a plant.
Yes,
now
actually, you have hibiscus outside.
And when we started, Jemo is asking, Caro, for real, you don't have a TV. How do you entertain yourself?
Do you know, I had not even realized you don't have a TV. And it's not that she can't afford. If this woman wants a TV today,
I would feel this one.
Yes.
Yeah, and you found a very old accordion, older than it's 1950 something accordion.
Really?
Yes. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, why don't you have a TV? You've already asked. Jemo asked that question.
First of all, I didn't even know where the sockets are in my sitting room, because I didn't know. I've told you
maybe they even
the sockets somewhere. I don't know. But I dropped a TV, I think, more than 12 years ago.
Ooh.
Actually, more than 12 years, yes. When my daughter was around 6, that's when we dropped a TV. At some point later, we got a TV and we stayed with it a whole 1 year without switching it on. And we were like, why do we have it? So we sold it. I remember we sold it at a throwaway price of 12,000. It was, I think, 50-something inches.
Ooh.
So for one, I have adopted a culture of knowing what I put into my mind. And so I have given that to my daughter. Your ear is like your womb.
Yeah.
It's the same way you are living in your mother's womb. Your head was here. Your feet were here.
It looks like that.
So whatever you put inside here, you see the song that we sing in baby nursery, Sunday school.
Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see.
Oh, be careful, little ears,
what you hear. Yes.
That simply just that. So for me, where I don't have TVs, one, I can't, I sieve what I'm listening to. And I wanted to raise a daughter who was not addicted to electronics. I wanted to raise an artistic daughter. All the art that you see here in every part of my house, it's my daughter who painted.
No.
Yes.
Even this one.
Yes. Every painting here, she's the one who has painted, and we frame, and we have decorated our house, and we now sell the paintings. And number 2, she can play a guitar, she can play a piano, she can do an accordion, she can do a wandende. She's an artistic child. If I had locked her in electronics, I would never have.
Does she have a phone?
Yes, she got a phone. She got a phone because she was in class 8 during Corona, so we needed to have a phone. However, that phone, we have our time. I was telling, I keep referring to Jimbo because we had a conversation before you came here. I was telling him how we have breaks for phones in my house. There's a moment, there are several hours where we don't use a phone because we don't want to depend on phones. And later we will do a show when I'm fully back with energy. Yes. We'll do a show on what phones are doing to us, what electronics are doing to us, and the consequence, the aftermath of all the dependency on those electronics. So it's a conscious decision that I made. Not that, and anyway, if I need entertainment, I have to look for other ways and means. I have a whole bookshelf there, so I keep reading.
Sometimes books are boring. And we are waiting for someone to act them out as movies so that we watch. But I hear you.
Yes, and I remembered when we started doing these shows, and at some point you asked me, Caro, are you happy? And you were so concerned.
Are you happy?
I'm like, yes, I'm happy. Down there is Monopoly, there is Scrabble, there is chess. We do all those doors. So we are happy.
You are happy? I was really concerned.
I'm very
You're
okay.
Good,
yes. And this is the kind of life that I live, and I enjoy it. I've been living it for the last 12 years now.
Wow.
By choice.
You
actually are lucky you found seats. I didn't have seats for a long time. We used to sit on the floor.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why?
No, there was no reason. I just didn't want seats at that moment.
Okay.
So we only had.
I thought there is scientific
there's no.
I would go sell mine.
But even these ones we will discuss why. I have all these pillows. We have had to throw out how many pillows. You found a pillow there. Because you can tell even when I'm sitting like this, I've had to support my back.
Yes.
So we'll still talk about the posture that we have on our seats. We'll still
I need a pillow.
That's another show we will do on the couches, how we are sitting. Yes. Anyway.
Okay. When I meet you, I just I know we can learn about everything. We even wanted to walk around this garden.
Yes.
I know everything here.
Everything has a reason, has a purpose. Yes, and you'll find a lot. By the way, later maybe some other time I'll take you through the garden.
That. But for today, we want to know why you're not okay. Actually, this is the first time we are meeting this year.
Yes.
This is the first recording we are having this year. The previous video on underwear we recorded last year.
Yeah, November. Imagine.
So this is the first time we are meeting and recording this year. Why?
Yes.
Where have you been?
I have been up and down. First of all, I was up and down taking care of my father. My father had been sick and terminally ill for the past 20-something years.
Oh.
He was diagnosed with diabetes in late 80s. No, early 90s. When we were a bit young, he was also young. And after so many years, diabetes, of course, and this is why I'm very passionate about non-communicable diseases, starting with diabetes and cancer, because firsthand I have had an experience with both of them. Both my grandparents, my grandfather and my grandmother, were diabetic, and they died out of complications related to diabetes. And then I've watched my father growing up. His kidneys failed in the year 2007. Yes, both kidneys. That is when we started dialysis in 2007. And so before then, he had surgeries. His eyes were failing, were falling, Those are complications that are related to diabetes and the medication that you take as a diabetes patient. And so my dad had been sick, seriously sick. And last year, around February, is when I learned that I didn't have long to live with him.
Oh, you were actually told?
No, you don't. You are not told. Unfortunately, sometimes even the doctors are scared of telling you that. But because the last 12 years I've been working with cancer patients.
Yeah.
I told you I'm a cancer survivor, right?
Yes, yes.
So let's go back a bit. When I got cancer and I got well, I started a non-profit called Held Sister Foundation.
Held Sisters, yeah.
So what I do, and held means I hold every lady who is in distress. And when I was sick, I just needed someone to hold me. I started going to hospitals and started holding men and women walking through cancer. And in the year 2017, 13 women died on my hands. Literally, I lost 13 people when I'm, like, you've worked with them for 1 year, 2 years, and then some of them died on my hands. And I just snapped into depression because I was like, Jesus, I can't do this, by the way, man. No, this one I cannot. Not knowing that God was preparing me for what was to happen this year. Because after that, I started learning about palliative care. I started going to hospice. I started learning the dying process. I don't know whether it's weird, but I am the kind of a person who have read a lot about death. Is it normal? Am I no?
Wait. There's a dying process.
Yes, I've literally studied death. And last year,
why were you studying this?
Because I needed to understand. You see, now I'm having patients and I'm watching them deteriorate.
Yeah.
I'm watching them. And I wanted to understand at what point might they die. So your body gives you, now I'm talking about a patient who is in palliative care, a patient who is terminally ill. There are signs and symptoms that the body gives, the mind, the body, the soul, everything gives you to tell you it's time to say goodbye. So I never wanted to be caught unawares like I was caught by the 13 women. I was like, no, I need to understand so that the next person who will die, I won't feel the kind of pain I've felt. And indeed, after I studied and started understanding, one of the first patients who I lost when I was conscious now, Pamela Athiambo, I had worked with her for 3 years. She had breast cancer and it had already, so when she got several signs and I knew it had already spread to the rest of their body, I started preparing for her death psychologically, but I know she's still alive. And we worked, it's okay, you can ask.
Is that right? Like, would you want me to prepare for you?
Yes, that is why we are having this conversation, because one, as Christians, we never want to talk about death.
And I wouldn't want anyone to tell me they're preparing for my death.
Number two, as Africans, we think talking about death is a taboo.
It's a taboo.
And clearly, I am the girl who is meant to break all this, to speak about all these topics that no one wants to talk about.
Yes, you're the one.
And so Pamela, I worked with her, and around July, that is when her body started giving me the signs that it's shutting down. So I started preparing that she's dying. November 20th, she called me and we were supposed to go for an event, and she told me, Mom, they call me Mom. Most of my patients call me Mom. You know what? I'm dying and I've woken up. I'm a cripple now. I can't walk. I told her it's okay. But she told me I'm not dying until I see you. That was on November 20th. I told her, okay, I'll come. And I knew I was the one holding her death like this. Because in her mind, she had believed I'm the one, after she sees me, she will die. And I learned that the power of life and death is in your tongue. The same way that the Bible says. Long story short is Pamela waited for me for 27 days.
Oh, you didn't go immediately?
No, I knew. And I was afraid of letting her. I was afraid of letting her go. This is the first person I'm consciously having to let go. And so by that time, she could not feed, she could not do anything, but she waited for me until I went on, I think December something. I can't remember which day. I went, I gathered courage, I went to Rongai. I went to her house and she told me, oh, thank you, you've been really taking care of me. She called her children. She called her sisters and told them, this is the Carol I've been telling you about. She handed me all her children's birth certificates and blah, 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 blah. I told the children, now this is your mother. And she told me, now I can die in peace because I have handed over. Then I asked her, Pamela, what do you want? Because I've learned that in the last days of your life, you just need to be comfortable. So she told me she needed me to cut her nails, comb her hair, and help her sit. So I did her nails, I did her hair. I helped her sit. By the time she's sitting, her bones are just they're just cracking. Luckily, she was not in pain. And when I did that, she told me, let's pray. And she told me, now I'm ready to die. Before I walked out of that door, she was dead. It's traumatizing.
I know, it's unbelievable. Like,
yes, she was gone. And she was buried. And Pamela left me with her children. Her last born was in Form 1, Kisumu Boys. Now he's a big man. He's done with school. He's a big man. That was the first conscious patient that I lost.
Yeah.
And I really mourned her. I grieved her, but it did not take me back to depression.
Okay.
Because these are the people that I had lost unaware, and because I had refused to face it, I really went into depression. From that time, I started, through Health Sister Foundation, I started doing an event called Brave and Solve. So what I do is I take the patients who are in their last stages, who know we are in palliative care. We dress them up, we give them a chance, and we take them to a 5-star hotel. We celebrate them, we honor them. They sleep there if they want. Intercontinental Hotel has been supporting me big time. Thank you so much, Intercontinental Hotel, Nairobi. Anytime I've wanted a patient not to die before experiencing a 5-star experience, I take them there, and somehow they organize and see how to give that patient the last days happy. And so I made sure that I in palliative care, I'm very passionate about palliative care, in giving someone a comfortable life at the end of life. So those stories I'm telling you about are 2017. And the whole time I didn't understand what God was doing, like, yo, boss. Sasa tena, like, you really want me to talk about death again. Like, God, why are you this unfair? You know, those things you go through and you're like, really, God? Really? Why? Are you even serious? How can you take me through things to do with death? And at some point, I think in the year before 2021, almost all the patients I was getting were in their last stages. The last stages. And the lesson, and the hardest lesson for me and for the patient around that time was, you have to forgive. I've learned the hard way that God doesn't want you to go before you forgive. I've watched a lady, may she rest in peace, Modoni. I worked with her she had been given 3 weeks. We worked together for another 6 months. I've watched her body wear out. I've watched her, literally, her body just disappeared. She became bones. We walked through this journey, and I used to post on Facebook what I'm, like, these things I'm telling you, I post on my Facebook account. And the whole time, God kept telling me, you have to tell her to forgive. And it was hard. She was like, no, I can't forgive. They left me when I needed them, blah, 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 blah. We walked through the journey, and today, like 2 weeks before she died, she went to Kenyatta, and she was calling my name. The hospital had to look for me. And she was violent. Then she said, when I got there, I talked to her with my team, and she calmed down, and she was a praise and worship leader. We sang and sang and sang and sang. By that time, her body is not, she's gone. And I told her, Muloni, you have to forgive. I had to take her through the process of forgiveness. Again, she took another 2 weeks of living. But the day she told me she has forgiven, she passed on. Because she was holding on to that. So God was teaching me through that. And so many other things. Because after that, because even Modoni left me 3 children. Yes. So Health Sister Foundation has so many children who we watch as they continue growing. And Health Sister Foundation still works to date. It's only that now I don't publicize so much what I do. But if you ask my team and Susan, they'll tell you every week when I'm seeing patients, I see one cancer patient for free, and I give them what they need. That's how I give back to the society. Long story, why I started all these stories, because I have come to add the dots, and I'm not angry at God anymore. Because I was angry at him. I was like, really, God? Really? Like, seriously? Sasa, why are you telling me about, why are you giving me patients who are dying? Why are you... All along, he was preparing me for my father. I'm the only daughter.
Oh, how many
to my
brothers?
father, I have 4 brothers.
Oh.
I'm a middle child. I am my father's mother.
Yeah.
That tells you how close. That tells you. That just tells you how my relationship with my father was. And then I was the first one to give him a grandchild who is a girl.
Who is a girl.
So they are very good friends with my daughter as well.
Yeah.
And my father has been sick. But every time he was sick, I cannot tell you how many times we were sure he's dead. Later, a doctor confided and said, we thought he would die in 2009, but he has lived to 2024. He had the strong will of living.
Oh, yeah.
And some days he could even sleep with the ICU. Or you guys were like, okay, we are letting you rest. Then he wakes up and says, I'm not dying. We have watched him fight, live. And sometimes I used to tell my brothers, the day our father will die, we will not even believe, because he'll have cheated us.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the times he has been there, he has been strong, he has been... And so I've watched, even before myself, I got cancer, my father was sick. Throughout my university life, he was sick. I asked him, when was the last time you lived without pain? And he told me, for the last maybe 16, 17, he can't remember how to live without pain.
Oh.
I watched him in so much pain. So, like, Rawder, when I tell you pain, it's pain. And we walked through the journey. My mom has been, that woman is on another level. Where? Because she took care of my grandmother when she got married for 10 years. Then my grandmother died. She was left to take care of my grandfather, and she still took care of him. Then he died. She has taken care of me when I was sick. She has taken care of my dad until he died. That's caregiving. Serious. Yeah. If there's a PhD in caregiving, I think she has it.
Yeah, she has it already. Yeah.
She has it. So last year, with that history, now you can tell that I needed to know how death comes. I needed to know how death comes so that I can be aware. And so my dad going in and out of hospital, we were sure, like we were used to, he'll go, he'll come back, he'll go, he'll come back. Around February is when I learned he'll not come back anytime soon. He might be leaving us soon. Why? Because I'm able to interpret all the scans. So I go and he was admitted from 2022, the amount of times he needed the hospital escalated. And I was like, okay, all right.
It's time.
So it's time. But I looked at the scans and I was like, we are done. And I slept and I had a dream. I'm like, God, you have to keep sending me. God tells me, Carol, I've prepared you for 10 years. It's time for you to prepare your family. Like, my family, yes. It's you who will prepare your family ahead of your father's death. I'm like, no.
Your brothers.
You God, God. See, you have many people. See, you choose someone else. See, you choose his doctor.
Yes.
See, maybe his doctor. Guess what? Even his doctor who had worked with him, he withdrew, he pulled back. So, at some point, he's admitted in hospital. I go to the hospital and I look at the scans. Then I ask my brothers, have you read these scans? They're like, yeah, but we didn't understand anything. It's like, okay, all right. And the dream keeps coming. Carol, you have to prepare your family. Like, how do you start telling my mother that her husband is dying? How do you start telling my brothers that their father is dying? Yet they have seen him
had
fight.
Not seen the signs.
Most of us, we never want to even admit that we are seeing the signs. And so then after walking through this journey, there are signs and symptoms as a caregiver of palliative care. You see and you know, we are done. But we never want to verbalize it.
Yes.
So the doctors have refused to say it, and God keeps telling me, you have to prepare your family. And I refuse. I snapped into something called anticipatory grief.
Oh.
Yes. March 2023, last year, I got into serious anticipatory grief. Anticipatory grief is when you know someone is dying, and for real, you can see the death. And so you start grieving them when they're still alive. And it feels wrong.
Yes, it
feels
wrong.
Very sinful.
It's wrong, especially if you are the person dying.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean,
if I know you're grieving me,
you will feel bad.
Yeah, I'm still here. There's these things. Sorry, I'm going to ask you everything that is in my mind. Some may feel insensitive.
Please ask. I'm here that I can share, so that I can help someone else. Ask.
Since I don't know if I am. Since your dad died, you've not been yourself.
Yeah.
Even now, you're not yet even back to work.
I'm not even.
How long has it been?
Near. It will be 40 days on Sunday. Today is
Today's on Thursday.
Today's on Thursday. So in Friday, Saturday, in 3 days it will be 40 days.
So 40 days you have been locked up sometimes.
Yeah, I cry a lot.
You cry.
I have panic attacks. I get anxiety. I talk to him. Still talk to him. Yeah.
We find you talking to him.
Yeah.
Wait, and you already grieved him before.
You. That's a good one.
Oh, is it?
That's a good one. Because
I'm thinking it's okay, it sounds wrong.
No, it's okay. Ask.
You already knew he's going to die.
Yes.
You started grieving him last year in March.
And I'm still grieving him.
He has now died, now the reality, and it's almost 40 days. You are not, Carol is not yet back.
Yes. I've done that with my other patients as well. I grieved Mudhoni before she died for 6 months, the anticipatory grief. And when she died, I grieved her for 2 years.
So anticipatory grief is not...
It's not a guarantee that... Ask psychologists.
Actually,
tell you.
Is it even useful anyway?
You see, anticipatory grief, it's not you. It's not the conscious mind that is going through it. Because the conscious mind always fights it. Okay. The conscious mind is the one that keeps telling you, he might survive.
Yeah.
No. You just hold on.
Our God.
So yes, it's there. That is the conscious mind. The subconscious mind, however, still remembers. And I keep telling you, subconscious mind and conscious mind is like driving a car. When you're driving, you think it's the steering wheel, but you never see the brakes. The brakes and the clutch, and it's called what? Those ones, they are more important than the steering wheel. So they are the ones that control. Your subconscious mind is the one that controls you more than the conscious mind. So when you refuse to think about something, you go to bed, you'll dream about it. When you refuse, you see, when the conscious mind says no to thinking about something, the subconscious mind will always catch you. Have you ever felt that thing of something is telling you something is not right, and then you refuse, then you keep feeling, you keep feeling, that's the subconscious mind. So anticipatory grief, most, if not always, it is the subconscious mind that goes into the grief. And anticipatory grief, you go through all the 5 stages of grief. There are days you are bargaining. There are days you are angry. There are days you are depressed. There are days that you are negotiating. There are days that you have accepted. Then the next minute you are not. Then the next. Anticipatory grief is something that is real for anyone going through a journey with a terminally ill patient. Because and sometimes, let me tell you, sometimes you can even have anticipatory grief of someone who you are not aware of. And maybe they will not have that long time to, like, they will have a sudden death. You see this thing, the premonitions that you can tell. For me, okay, I hope I don't sound weird.
I hope so, too.
Sometimes,
I hope we both don't sound weird.
Sometimes I get premonitions that someone is about to die, but I never know who exactly is about to die.
You know, in Africa, we will call you a witch. In Africa, we'll call you a witch.
I called myself a witch a long time ago. I used to think I'm a witch.
You don't know the person.
Yeah, sometimes, most of the time,
and then when it happens, you're like,
you're like, oh God, that was the. So I can get premonitions even a month or 3 months before. And so I've learned, when I get that, I start preparing on behalf of that person. So it's never me. It's never someone I know. However, the shocking thing, anyone close, like when I lost my grandfather, I did not even feel that death. Like, I did not see it. Yes, I knew my grandfather died in February, but December I started seeing him dying. He was not sick. He just got a heart. Like December, Christmas, I was like, these signs.
Yeah.
It's like he's living. Because I'll tell you some of the signs that when someone is living. So the subconscious mind is the one that goes through the whole...
The grief.
But we are always fighting the subconscious mind. And we never want to talk about these things. So I know there are people who will watch this show and they will keep rewinding because they're like,
yes.
Someone might even make a meme out of us and it is okay.
It is okay.
Because we are always fighting the subconscious mind. So I've made friends with my subconscious mind and I allow it to tell me what is happening. That's how I'm able to connect with so many different things.
So
and for you to make friends with your subconscious mind, you have to detach from so many things, including your electronics.
Oh yeah.
You have to spend a lot of time with God, with yourself, with silence, so that you can detach and so that you can hear what the subconscious mind is saying. Hallelujah.
So when it happens, the conscious mind now is the one grieving.
So now,
grieving.
I walked from February with anticipatory grief.
Yes.
And then on 16th of January, I spent time with my dad from 15th of... I'll tell you the journey, how it went. And even when we were in the hospital and the doctors were looking at it, I told the doctors, that witch that you are refusing to tell my brothers, I know. They asked me what. I told them, I can see he's gone.
Yeah.
I stayed with him, and by the time I was leaving him, I told him my goodbye. And I touched him as he used to like when I touch him like this, and I told him goodbye. In my heart, as I stepped out of that hospital, I knew I'll never see him again. I knew. And when I was called by my brother to be told he has rested few hours later, I still cried. I felt pain. I felt confused. I felt lost. And I'm still lost.
Yeah.
Because now is for real. Like I was telling you, the most shocking thing for me right now is that my father is only a photograph. I'm still in that shock, like, he's only a photograph. I can't believe that. So that, now the conscious mind now has accepted, it has been hit, and it has no choice. And the conscious mind is always fighting.
Yeah.
The thing, why we keep fighting as Christians, saying the evil spirit, Holy Spirit, and my spirit. We are always fighting. Is it God who is talking? Is it Satan? Is it me? It's because the conscious mind is always fighting.
Yeah.
So the conscious mind has to go through the stages of grief so until it gets to acceptance. And so I have to be patient with my conscious mind to go through what my subconscious mind went through.
Yeah.
So right now, my subconscious mind is somewhere else doing other things.
Yeah.
When my conscious mind. So I'm waking up every minute. Sometimes I'm seated there. I'm like, I might call my dad. Then I remember,
no, I can't call him.
Then I think, maybe I'll go home. It's a dream. Because remember from, and I don't know. I don't know how, I don't know whether you've ever lost someone. And from the day he or she dies, that period from 16th of January, I was surrounded by so many people. I felt so lost. Until 24th of January when he was buried, I was a zombie. My brothers were telling me they also cannot remember anything between 16th and 24th. Then if you ask me, I watched my father's funeral video the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
I feel like I was not there. I don't even, like, you don't know what happened. And then, boom.
Yeah.
Everyone disappears.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys are left like, we are alone. And that is the most unfair African tradition that we have.
As a family.
The most unfair tradition we have. If I had powers to change, I would change that. And then that time, you are with your corpse, you are deceased, he's lying in the mortuary, you're still hopeful. Maybe he might wake up, you're still somehow hopeful.
Yeah.
Then people come, They show up in big numbers.
Yeah.
Then they bury him. Like literally, they help you bury him.
Yes.
So they leave you with a grave.
And they all disappear.
For anyone who is watching us, they know what I'm talking about.
I have a gift for your teen daughter. Sorry to interrupt the conversation. My name is Rawder Kidula, and I present to you this book for my beautiful teen girl. It's a gift challenging the teen girl to have godly values. It talks about many issues that they go through and inspires them to be better teens. See details on the screen of how you can get it. Thank you.
Okay. Wait, I think I have so many questions I don't even know what to ask.
Ask them.
Do you feel, the way you've said it's an unfair African tradition, the people who showed up for the burial, did they show up when he was unwell? That's a very dangerous ground because they know themselves. When he was unwell in hospital for all those years, did the crowd that came to bury him, did they show up for him, for you? Because I'm sure your friends and family knew. These are many years.
Yeah. Well, they used to come, but you see now, as when you have a patient for long, that is when you know how important family is. That is why I tell people, invest in the right places.
Oh, yes.
Invest in the right places. If you're here, you're watching us, you're a man, invest in your family, your children, your wife. Your siblings will show up, but they will never live with you 24/7.
They left. We found you alone.
Yes, 24/7. So I will not say that they never showed up. They showed up in their own ways. The shocking thing for someone when they get death is when those people who used to call and say, I'll come and see your dad. How is he doing? Somehow, those who never got time, when he dies, they get a whole week to come and spend with you.
Ouch.
Again, I say for us, and this is not just for my dad, it's for the patients that I've worked with. I've worked with so many patients and I've watched them. There's one who I actually remember. We walked to her house with my team and found no food, no nothing. We started by getting her food and her children food. We walked with her. Everyone had deserted her, but when she died, they all showed up with t-shirts written, "Rest in peace, our dear sister. Rest in peace, our mother. Rest in peace, our blah, blah, blah." And that one was painful for me because that girl had shared with me how hard it was, and the months that I had, the years that I worked with her, I saw no one. I saw no one, literally no one. And when she died, her body, people started fighting over her body. So I still don't understand those things. I still maybe I am too fragile to talk about that for now.
Or
maybe
it's also a reality of life.
It's a reality of life that we need to think and rethink again and be very honest with each other and with ourselves. Especially if we are true Christians.
That one has hit me.
If we are true Christians.
Yes. Because there are many times you hear, Nani is in hospital, you're like, I can't make it.
I don't have money to buy fruits. Who told you they need even fruits? Just go and see them. Who told you? Some days we used to find
I don't have fare.
Yes.
Then when you hear they have died.
You find fare, you find time, and you contribute on WhatsApp. How? How do we do that? Why is the dead? How come all of a sudden the dead is very important?
We now feel we need to support the burial.
For what? Okay.
I think
this is a very tough
conversation.
But we need a wake-up call.
Yeah. And it's a personal... Inafaa kukushika. Personally. It's supposed you're supposed to feel it, to be convicted personally. What I'm doing is wrong.
Yes.
I can create time for people around me. And we always feel like it's us. When it's other people, we don't have time. But when it's my time, people should show up. You guys, you know.
I've lived and having lived with terminally ill patients at hand. Number 2, having worked with terminally ill patients and losing them, they will tell you that one of the things of value that they need is just this.
Yeah.
Just sit down with me. Don't do anything. And that is why I started Held Sister Foundation.
Yeah.
Held Sister, the only thing we do is we show up, we hug you, we sing with you, we celebrate with you. If we don't have even the resources to do that, but when we come and we find you have no food, we don't even have the money ourselves. We will just call few volunteers. We have good well-wishers who we call and say, I have a patient, they don't have diapers. Please help us. We never, if you watch my model of Held Sister Foundation, I had gone the traditional way of looking for sponsors and I don't know what, it never worked. Because God was teaching me, I will always provide for that patient at that time.
Oh.
That's enough.
So it's
before that I have made mistakes. Yes, before that I've made mistakes of thinking I can be able to do that. I have failed in one way or the other as through Held Sister, but I have learned, and because God has been teaching me and pinching me. So he taught me, it's for one, that person who needs is the one that I will provide for.
Yeah.
That thing of having a non-profit money or I do projects like this. One project after that money will disappear and I go to the next one because I've learned along the way.
And God always provides.
He always provides. And one of the lessons I've learned from my father, I wrote his in his eulogy. He has taught me to live. I see you on WhatsApp or every Saturday. You remind us how God clothes us with. He has taught me to live like a bird.
No.
A bird sleeps very early and wakes up in the morning, sings for God, looks for the food for that day, goes to the. When my father was sick, anyone who attended my father's funeral, I was hearing people talk about, I heard so many people talk about different things he did for them.
Yeah.
The things I've learned about him after he's dead are more than the things I had learned about him when he was alive, because I've understood him more. Because there were days we were so angry. He's supposed to go for dialysis on Tuesday. We used to need 14,000 for the dialysis, and then fuel and some medication. Then you have given him that money. Someone shows up with a problem. He gives them that money. Then you ask him. Then he's telling you, "I don't have money. I gave out for what? No, she didn't have school fees for her children. So you gave her. Did you tell her it's for hospital? Yes, I did, but she needs it more than me." Guess what? God used to provide that money before. Not through us, but through other people who used to just give. So-and-so, you helped me so many years ago. Please have this. So he has taught me what my mother keeps telling me. That every time you feel like you want to be greedy to have everything, always say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. So my mom tells me, do not, if you have two packets of flour or one packet of flour which you have planned to eat lunch and dinner, and someone shows up when they're hungry, do not worry about dinner. Give them that lunch. You have lunch, they will have lunch. Dinner, God will provide for the two of you.
The planners who are listening are very mad.
I know. There are people who live with an Excel sheet. The month. Like this month, I cannot give even a 10 bob. I cannot
Some people will think I told you to say that. I didn't.
Oh, you have told them?
No, I know many people in my life with those Excel sheets. I've never told Carol about you. Yeah. Yes, so we're always planning about 2030, 2050.
If you want a testimony, I'll tell you, my testimonies are crazy. The year the first time I did that event for the palliative care patients, I walked into Intercontinental Hotel. That is how I became friends with Intercontinental. I told my friend Charlene Kimara, Mama Bima, I'm sure you are watching. I told her, Charlene, I want to do something for the people in palliative care. I want to take them to a 5-star hotel. Myself, I had never been to a five-star hotel. And then I had booked a meeting with by then the manager. And I had no money. I didn't even have fare. Didn't even have transport to Intercontinental. So my Charlene gave me 300 shillings, and then I asked her for her shoes so that I can look serious. I wore her shoes, so I'm walking like this to Intercontinental. The person I was supposed to meet somehow forgot my meeting, and so she left. And so when I called her, she told me, no, I'm not available. See so-and-so. Yeah. That so-and-so, when I walked in, and I very confident, having nothing, and I told him, I want to do this for the patients. The time I was telling him, he was shedding tears. I was like, Allah, why is he shedding? He told me 2 weeks ago, I buried both my parents to cancer. So anything you ever want, I'll give you. And that is how I did my first event, which was worth 700,000 Kenyan shillings, which I had nothing, but God provided. So if you're there with your Excel sheet, you keep waiting for God. I have no personal beef with Excel sheets, but always remember, give us this day our daily bread. I'm not saying someone else should not plan. You plan. You plan. Oh God, you don't need to live like me. I am special. I live a day at a time. But that Excel sheet is limiting you from so many things. That thing we are saying, I'll see Carol. As Carol is sick, I'll see her maybe next week when I have some money, because according to my budget, I have not planned. Then later Carol dies, and then you are feeling so guilty. Then you show up another 1 week. You've wasted another 1 week to go and see the dead, and the dead cannot hear you. Or rather, I assume they hear. I don't know. The dead is different from alive. So just let's loosen up and be there. It's just the same thing. Like, I'm sure Mary and Martha were like, why didn't Jesus come when our brother was alive? Maybe there's someone who will tell us, maybe they want to show up like Jesus. But if you're showing up and not I know. So my journey was that, and February is when now I read those scans, and I fell into anticipatory grief first. Then I was struggling within me because the voice is very loud that I have to prepare my family, and I'm refusing. So I went through the voice, that very deep voice, the grief. Around that time is when, after my office had burnt, R&B office got burnt in 2022 October. So now 2023, I'm supposed to move to look for a new office. So April is when I was looking for a new office, is when we were moving. The symptoms I experienced, maybe I can share some of the symptoms that my body experienced, because I always tell you that your body keeps count. So the symptoms I experienced, the first one was excess weight gain, because for me, I add weight when I'm under stress.
How do you add weight and you don't eat?
Yes, because of the cortisol. By then you need to tell them that you walked into my house and found nothing except
fruits and herbs and nuts.
And that is why we keep telling someone, don't judge someone. There are people who think that someone is big because they eat
fries and chicken.
Yes. So for me, I add weight because of the hormones. My body is they have different metabolisms. I'll teach you someday about the metabolism, about the hormones. So for me, when the cortisol, the stress hormone goes up, I add weight. My skin changes. I become someone else. Then number two, because I was very frustrated, the second symptom I experienced was something called bruxisms. I could get, you are always, there are people who are always holding, clenching their, you do this when you're angry or when you're frustrated. So you find yourself, even when you're asleep, you're still like this. When you're thinking, you're like this. When you're driving, you bite your jaws because you are so frustrated. You don't know what exactly to do. It is a condition, and it is a psychological condition. So when you find yourself doing that, and then I was always like, you feel so...
You're sad.
Yes, I was always like that throughout, because I was feeling so frustrated, and maybe even our viewer did not see it, because when we do our show, we are happy, we are excited, but after the cameras stop rolling.
You've never mentioned your dad on the shows. You've talked about your mom.
Not just this show, but the whole of 2023 in all my shows, I never mentioned my dad's illness, because one, I was feeling like I don't want sympathy. And that is something that someone who is with a patient who they have had for long, they feel like we have made people tired. Tumewachosha. So let me just shut up.
Another question. You are Carol.
Yes.
Our health coach.
Yes.
You have all these herbs.
Yes.
You have all those plants. I can see. There was nothing that
and
your
all
dad...
this wisdom and all this. Like, that was why I was angry.
Oh, yeah.
I even confronted God and I told him, dude, if you do... I assume he's a dude. Like, this moment
he's
you're
not
like, God.
dude. No. He's not dude.
My God is a simple one. They're like, yo, we even do this with my God. Like, yo, God, yeah, we are. My God is a dizzy one. So I was like, God, serious? You are telling me you can't heal him, and you're here, you're sending me to go and heal people.
Other people,
what kind of business do you conduct? How do you do your business? You are sending me to heal people. Every morning I walk into my office, people come to me, they listen to me, they get healed. And you cannot heal this one person. I was angry.
Did you try?
There's nothing I haven't tried. Because remember, the person who has taught me most of these things is my mother. So my mother has also tried.
She has already mixed all these things for him.
Everything we have tried. However, by the time I was learning all these things, his kidneys were already failed. So there's nothing much.
And the kidney transplant?
We did a transplant in 2011. It lasted 7 years. Then it collapsed. Then it just died. So again, we went back to the cycle. So we had tried. Like, we tried anything and everything. So I was angry at God. How could you... I almost resigned into this in R&B. I was like, God, I'm not going to do this work again.
Do you know that is what sometimes Satan uses to kill destinies and purpose?
That is when I learned. And I prayed until I was angry. It is all... I don't know whether it is... Okay, I don't know if you are watching. If I'm saying something that will offend you, please forgive me. For me, I believe it's okay to be angry at God and tell him, God, by the way, I'm angry at you. Why are you not doing this? So I went to him and I told him, right now, by the way, I'm feeling so angry at you. Because of this and this and this and this. And though he did not give me an answer immediately, he whispered to me slowly and in a very nice way that I am using that for my glory. And it's not meant for you. Why are you making it about you? It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. And even your father, he is mine and I'm taking care of him. It is not about him.
It's not you. You're not the healer.
Yes. So me, I've sent you. Go and do what I've sent you to do. Otherwise, you will be killing. The devil is trying to use that because anytime you see now I'm opening a new office. It is good. Things are flowing. Every time that I'm supposed to meet people, my father used to get sick. Now, Mimi, there are days, at some point I looked like a crazy person because I could go, take him to hospital, maybe leave very early in the morning, then tell him I'm coming back. I'll go to the office and still attend to my patients and still come back. And even someone is like, "Hey, Carol, so you go and attend to your father first." Then I'm like, if I go and sit in the hospital, will I change anything? Ouch. Have I paid the bill? Yes. Have I done my best? Yes. So then I come back to R&B. I attend to people. And that is why the whole of last year I never mentioned my dad anywhere. However, there is a show that I remember we postponed, or rather I came and I was very sad because he was very, very sick. And I told you, and I told you, and I was so down. But I told myself, no, I'm not going to go down because someone else needed to, and I think that is one of the best shows that we have ever done.
Remember,
I was so low, and that is something else that our viewer needs to know. That behind these cameras, when these cameras go down, we also go down. We crash. But for the sake of that ministry, you hold on. You hold on. So that was the reason why I never talked about my dad. Him, and also I've known a very strong dad. Somehow a part of me was sure he would pull through. So now February, I've refused March. April, I added weight. I'm having Braxins. Sleep disappeared on me. I tried bedding spray. I tried chamomile.
Even bedding spray.
I tried everything. Everything. Sleep just disappeared on me because the subconscious mind is still thinking about this. So the insomnia. Then I also got that thing of I was just angry and irritable and easily irritable. Easily. And then what else did I experience? I started withdrawing. I would withdraw from crowds. I didn't want to be amongst people because I'm like, they are laughing. They don't have no idea how my father, they have no idea what we are going through. Because around that time, the hospital bills are going like this. The hospital bills were like this. We would admit, we have files. The other day we were looking at the files, we were like, wow, you can admit him 1 week 2 million Kenyan shillings will disappear. You are tired of asking people for money.
For help, yeah.
So you have to work hard. So that's another reason why I had to work.
Work very hard.
Very hard to pay the bills. So the bills are going crazy. Number 3, around that time, I think even my mother unconsciously was going through anticipatory grief. She had snapped into depression. So I have to take care of my mother. I have to take my friend. Where? Where?
Now, after his death, you are now grieving proper.
Yes.
You're also helping other
grief. Yes. Not just that. Let me tell you. So this is April. May, after my dream, and I have refused, my father calls me. So I go to visit him, and we were friends. He would tell me his story. He loves. I still feel like it's wrong calling him past.
Yeah, he was.
I'm feeling like, oh my God, it's not he was. He is. He loves history. So I used to go and visit him. And for me, I don't like hospitals. I am scared of hospitals. Hospitals freak me out.
You're a health coach.
Yes. Hospitals freak me out because if I walk into a hospital, I find all the sadness. By the time I'm leaving the hospital, I get sick. I get sick of all that sadness in that hospital. So I freak out. And my father used to know that. So that's when I disappear, he could just tell my brothers once in a while. And Amma would call me and tell me, well, you are my mother still. You come and see me. So I'd go and see him and we talk. Then around May, he calls me. Tells me, Carol, now, you see this disease, he used to say, this disease of mine, I can feel the doctors are done. They don't know what to do with me anymore. And my death has been released in heaven. But you guys are holding on to me. I'm like, He told me, yes. I wanted to go and tell my brothers and sisters, your mother and your brothers, you need to release me. Like, Yani, God, I've refused the dream. I've refused the subconscious mind. Now you're using the patient himself. The patient himself. And I asked him, why did you tell me? He tells me, because I know you know.
Oh.
Because I know you know, and because I know you are brave enough, and I know you are strong, and I know you, of all my children, you can handle it.
You can handle it.
And immediately after, we talked, and he told me, I don't want to be admitted in a hospital again, because I don't want to use your money anymore. Just know that my time is here. But you guys need to release me. I asked him, so who is holding on to you? Tell me. He told me, no, I'm not going to tell you. You go and tell them to release me. I remember my aunties came immediately, and I sat them outside at the reception, two of the sisters, and I told them, are you ready to release that? And then they're like, I don't know. Then I think another uncle walked in, and my dad told, after they came in, all of them, he kept telling them, go and ask Carol what I've said. I'm not going to talk to anyone else. So this is May last year. So this is when I'm trying to tell my brothers, you guys, I've been reading these scans, and our father doesn't have long to live. They're like, no, there's hope. No, there's another doctor who we were told. And it was, of course, the first thing is denial for them. Then the hardest was my mom. Because I was like, maybe...
She didn't know.
Somehow she knew. But she didn't want to accept it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, Mommy, you know what? We have been doing our best, but he doesn't have long to live. We have to allow him to go. Then my brothers, we could sit down today. They are okay. Today they're like, wow, Carol, you're making so much sense. Then in the evening, they'll call me, no, but Carol, no,
we haven't tried this.
But we haven't done this. We haven't done this. And it was back and forth. Then his brothers and sisters, the ones that I was able to talk to, they were like, but he has survived all these years. What do you mean? He's going nowhere. What, Carol, what do you mean? He's a strong man. I'm like, God, you've sent me to deliver a message. Why are you making it so difficult for me? And even me, I'm a child. I'm a child to this man. Oh, God.
Yeah. Now, that makes my question even stronger. You are even the one who was sent to prepare the
other family. And I'm still grieving.
Yeah, but I'm still there. Like, when the reality strikes, you start from zero.
Yes. Even when someone dies as you watch like this, you start from zero. From zero.
No one is ever prepared.
And I have learned there is no day you will say, okay, bye, okay, bye.
We are good.
You see, I'm telling you, I told bye. I told my dad bye. But it was still not bye.
And you said you knew you will not see him again.
And when I was told, I cried, I screamed, I felt hollow. And I'm like, gosh, I thought I said bye. I thought I said goodbye.
So you ran back to hospital? No,
I didn't run back to, the first thing was like, oh my God, where is my mother? Where is my mother? So I asked my brothers, you are with who and who? Yeah. Okay, then I thought, now this is a part of me that is very weird. So I've been told I'm thinking about my mother and two of my younger brothers. Yes. I'm like, where are they? Do they know? And no one knows how to tell mom.
Yes.
However, the night before, by the time I was leaving home with dad, I somewhat prepared mom. And mom saw it. So even when she had my phone call, I didn't even tell her anything. She asked me, what? I told her, no, I have a flu. It's like, oh, okay. And then I realized she already knows. Yeah. And I told her, no. See, we agreed that we have to release but dad. She's like, I told her, he has rested. Even her, she screamed. She was all over. I could hear. She did not switch off the phone. So she left me there and she was all over. Oh. So, I'm starting to tell my brothers and sisters, my mom, his brothers and sisters. No one seems to believe me. Everyone still thinks there's something else we can do. Even myself, sometimes I'm like,
there is something else.
It's like July, he calls me again home. And he tells me in front of my auntie and my mom, I want to, in my family, they know I write very good eulogies. But if you need a good eulogy, I can even, and I believe a eulogy should be written before you die, by the way.
I write for myself.
You can tell me to write for you how you want it to be done. Then, when you'll die. I write eulogies for people. I wrote for my grandfather.
What if someone doesn't want...
2 years before.
Me, I don't want.
You don't want an eulogy? Yeah. That is also an option. And we need to open our mindset. Like, you guys, we need to open our mindset.
My primary school will not help you where I went.
No, now I'll give you my father's eulogy.
I'll
give you my father's eulogy and my grandfather's eulogy.
I believe I'm here now. Enjoy me.
Yes. Then when I'm gone, stop reading my things. Stop telling. Yes.
I've written a book. Some of you have not even bought. Then you'll send there and say, she's the author of my beauty. No. Buy my book now. Tell me how good it is now. Did I believe even RIP doesn't help?
Thank you.
If you want someone to rest in peace, tell them about Jesus when they're alive.
Yes.
Okay, Rawder.
Come back. No, but it's okay. I think this is why we need these conversations. If I don't feel like I want a eulogy, why should you guys write my eulogy? So I've also watched, like in my family, I've now introduced that custom of let me tell my story long before, because you guys, my Guka, I wrote for his eulogy 2 years before he died. He called me and I sat down with him for 2 clean weeks. Told me his journey. He was old. He was 85 and he had lived a full life. Wow. This thing of writing, so we celebrate, and that is the essence of celebrating life. So my dad called me in July and told me, this is how I would, and I recorded, and I did that. And I told him, it's okay. I promise you, I'll do that. And so I started the journey. You know, a doctor will come and see him disappear. See him disappear. And I'm telling my family, you guys are still not believing. Even some of the photos I put on his, we put on the booklet for the eulogy. Yeah. He told us, Abu, take photos with me before I die. You guys, you'll struggle with photos of... So even him, and he kept telling me, Carol, my death has been released from up there. But you guys are holding on to me. Then the next minute he's like, no, but there are some few things I've not finished. So I'm like, which ones? And every time I visited him, he would tell me something new. But there's one constant message he kept telling me. And that one I won't share. Don't ask for it. But the beauty is all those years, all those months, even Christmas Day, every minute he was telling everyone, please touch me and pray. Children, pray. Everyone pray. He was just saying, let us pray. And until I left him at 4 a.m. on 16th of January, the last thing he said, please let us pray. And he kept telling me, Carol, let's go. I'm like, Maybe he wanted to go with me. I was like, dude, baby, I'm not going with you. I'm not going with you. Bye.
Oh. So wait, he called you and told you to write?
Yeah. I recorded.
Specifically what to write?
Yeah, he just told me his, the things that, for us, we write those boring things. For me, I don't do. But I don't do boring eulogies. Ooh. I celebrate that life. And so I tell hilarious stories. Oh, yeah. I tell stories.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I love doing that for other people, because when someone passes on, I've learned we need, like when they are in that coffin, you just want to keep celebrating them. We just want to, as a family, as a loved one, you just want to celebrate them. So it should be a celebration of life. So yeah, he told me, I recorded with the phone, but God nae ni nani. You don't never joke with God. Somehow that phone disappeared, because God wanted me to write that story. He wanted me to write what I know about my father. And so on. When I was called and I was told around 5 he died, I wrote his eulogy that same night at around 10, and I took only 1 hour. I wrote 5 pages. 5 pages of the father that I know. God didn't want me to write those. And I told stories about him. I told stories, and I love that I was able to do that. I'm glad that I was able to do that. I honored him with that. So something else that brought a lot of controversy is the fact that I consciously said I don't want to see his body.
Oh, you didn't?
I had no business with his body. I served it when it was alive.
Well, there are people who will say, for now, nowadays I know the comment. I have anticipatory comments. I know how they will come.
Yes.
After that statement, I have had people say, I have not healed, or I can't move on because
I never saw
the body.
No. This is not the first time.
Prolong grief.
No, this is not the first time I'm doing this. I've lost quite a number of people, my patients, and I have refused so that I can stay with the memories that I choose.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be left with the father that I said goodbye to, especially for terminally ill patients. Oh, yeah. For me, I say my goodbyes. You remember, I've done my. So even that Monday when I was leaving, I knew I'd never come to see my dad in the hospital again. And so when I was told he passed,
you didn't go to see him.
That is the only father I was left with, the warm father, the one who was still warm. The other one is a body. It is a body. There is nothing I can do. So quite a number of people did not understand why and how I chose that. That's a conscious decision that I make. You don't have to make the same. Months later, days later, my brothers have understood why I told them that. Someday I'll tell you why. Because they're like, Caro, you made the right decision. Yes.
For everyone else, it's tradition. When
it's tradition
dies,
to
you have to go.
You don't have to. If you've done so, that one most people did not understand why I did not do. Number 2, I did not write tributes for my dad. I have no problem with writing tributes, but you are a witness. You are a witness of people who, as we said, have not been there, and then they want to write, and then on the funeral day they want to be given the microphone to read the tributes. That I don't do that. Not just for my father, I don't give tributes.
That is Caro or every family member?
No, that is Caro.
Others wrote.
Everyone wrote. And they could not understand why my
daughter.
Yes. They could not understand why I was not reading. Yes. Yeah. So that is me. That is my way of.
Yes.
So I'm saying you can choose your way. You don't have to follow the tradition. Because my tribute, even if I wrote, it would not be enough. My tribute I gave my father when he was alive. When he was alive, I'll tell you before God, I gave him everything that I could. That was my tribute. When I have a patient,
you give people their flowers
when they are alive. When I have a patient, when I have you as my friend, you don't have to be sick. Rather, when I have you as my genuine friend, I give you my tribute when you're alive. Or I give our friendship the tribute when it's alive. So even when I say goodbyes to friendships, I don't look back because I gave you mine when you were alive, when our friendship was alive. That's my mantra in life.
like for me, I don't post people. I have really struggled. I have never posted you on my Facebook when you're alive to just celebrate you and cheer you.
When I die. It was just the other day.
This is our last conversation. Now for me, Rawder, I really struggle. That's why sometimes people tell me, oh, Rawder, Nani has died, Mandela, which celebrity? Rawder, you need to be relevant on your page. I'm like, I feel so bad. I never posted Mandela. Or whichever person.
Yeah.
But now, because
everyone else is right, yes, you trend. That trend.
I want to be relevant.
That's a syndrome we have of trending. Because
I want to be relevant. Everyone else is talking about this. No.
I don't do that either. And I'm telling you, not just death. Yeah. Even friendships, even work. When you come to my office, any client who've come to my office, when I'm with you for that 1 hour, I give you my 1 hour. I give you undivided attention. And you, when you walk out, I know I've given you my all.
Yeah.
So if you take something, sawa. If you don't take anything, still okay. I have nothing to regret. So I feel sad. I feel so sad. There's a time I had a patient, a very elderly woman. She was so neglected. Very neglected, to a point she even had jiggers. We had to clean her up, feed her. We were thinking she doesn't even have a family. When she died, the kind of a funeral they did for that woman, I cried throughout. And maybe they were thinking I'm crying because she's dead. Because I was sad. The kind of tributes they gave to that woman.
Now everyone is available and everyone has something to say.
And they paid for everything. I really cried. And I told God, teach me not to be a pretender. If you want to meet, if there was a meeting of pretenders, you'll find them in burials and in weddings.
Weddings, they just came to see.
I hear they even pinch the bride. When they are singing for the bride, they are still pinching like this. Yes.
They're mad.
Jealousy. Those women in charge. I hear even witches come to the wedding anyway. But that was some of the things.
So, we are still on the grieving journey.
Yes.
Where are you now?
Wait, before I tell you where I am now, July I've done the eulogy. Now I'm trying to convince, and now my family is starting to see like I'm making sense. And I've told you that my dad have struggled with diabetes complication related things.
Yeah.
And then one day, around just before July, just before he gave me his eulogy, and some of the doctors, a doctor would come and recommend this. And one of the scans I saw mentioned that my dad has cancer. Because one of his lung had collapsed, and the other one had a tumor, which was also lying on the lymph nodes. And when I saw that, I was like, I think that was a breaking point for me. Cancer was a breaking point for me. And he kept saying, even if I have cancer, see, you guys tell me. And I kept telling him, I know, but yet I knew there was. And so now, I told my brothers, of course, we all go through the journey differently. And they also went into shock, but then in disbelief, in denial, and all these things. We told our mom after dad passed. Because I told my brothers, even if anything happens, we are not going to pursue that disease. We'll not do biopsy, we'll not do anything, because we'll be torturing his body for no reason. He's already 2 weak, and by that time his weight had really gone down. The moment I saw the weight going down, my greatest fear was it could be cancer. But I was like, oh shoot. So when I read that, and I think that is what broke me. That crushed me. Because I was like, God, again, this one? And I know this one we can't. So that also aggravated the anticipatory grief, knowing that I don't have long. I watched his body, and now I knew the kind of pain he'll go through. And indeed, from July, that man has gone through that pain. It has been painful. But no doctor opened their mouth to say. No. The other one who, after they saw, they did a scan, and when they saw the scan, they kept telling him that they have a wedding this Saturday, they have a wedding they are planning, then they have a surgery what. They just disappeared because they don't know how to talk about it. And later, I thank God for my brothers. They have been a support system, and also the fact that they value the kind of work that I do, and they know the amount of knowledge I get through my journey. And so they understood. They always consult, and they know that when I'm saying something, I have my facts right. Yes. And so that was the breaking point, knowing that after all this, he has had to have cancer, because this might bring your channel some problems if I say it, but I'll try and say it in very simple language. We need to be very, I'm really looking for the best and the easiest way to say, from where I'm seated, from the journey that I've been working with, and the relationship I've had with cancer patients and have watched, I am not in any way a doctor, as some people usually write down here. There are some people who are very bitter they keep writing, is he a medical doctor? I'm not a medical doctor. I need to clarify that. I'm not a medical doctor. And so maybe I'll be making this judgment from a stupidity or an ignorance point of view from my journey. But my dad's, the final diagnosis has a bigger percentage was contributed by the amount of medication that he has had to take. In a day, he would take medication for the eyes, for the kidneys, for the diabetes, in a day, he would take a whole. So those medications for the long time, they came with side effects. So my caution is, if there is something you can do to minimize the amount of medication that you take, it is better to do it early than to start running the last minute. So if there's something you can do, I'm not saying you drop medication, but if there's something you can do, and that's why I'm very keen on lifestyle diseases. If you can change your lifestyle, if you can eat, if you can drink sugarless hibiscus, do it before you get to that point. I think my father has walked through that journey to prove and to give. Unfortunately, has had to suffer so that someone else can learn. I've learned, and I'm willing to teach other people. Lifestyle diseases, if there's anything you can do to prevent early enough, prevent that kind of pain that he went through, then do it now. Because the final diagnosis of cancer, which is very difficult for me to pronounce, but I'm keeping to pronouncing so that I can come to terms with it. I give a big percentage of its genesis to the amount of medication that he has had to go through. Yes. So if there's anything you can do, you can do it now.
And someone will comment and say, their grandmother is 90, they have been taking sugar, they take sweets,
and they are still alive. And it's okay.
Very strong.
Yes, not everyone will have to go through this journey we are talking about. There's also someone else who commented, then you refuse to take sugar, you refuse to take sweet, then you go and get a car accident.
With your healthy body. You guys, you comment with kindness. Hi.
Sometimes you make us not to want to read these comments.
Yeah, sometimes. Why did you hide that from your mother?
It would break her.
It didn't break her after?
It was better because he was gone. And unfortunately, our society is still very scared of the word cancer.
Yes. It's like a death sentence. She's a cancer survivor. Right? How many years later? 12 years later.
Yes, so the moment you tell anyone the word cancer, the first thing that comes to mind is like, boom, it would have really crushed her hopes. The word cancer comes with a lot of not desperation,
hopelessness.
So it would have really broken.
Yeah.
And not just my mother, even my aunties. Maybe some of my family members will also hear from it. We never talked about it.
They just need the kidney.
Yes, we never talked about it because it would crush. And even him, it would have crushed him.
Oh, he also didn't know.
He didn't know. He was suspecting, but he didn't know. We didn't tell him.
Would you like to be told if you were in there?
If I was where he was?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Serious?
No, I wouldn't.
You would feel like,
who?
What's the word? Like, if I'm your mom in her position, I come from the school of thought, who gives you permission to decide what breaks me?
The beauty is, when you don't know, you don't know. Because they didn't know, they didn't know. I'm not saying that would have been, that was the best choice, but it was because we needed to protect them. They were already so broken.
Oh, yeah.
The only sad part for me was every day when I would sit down with my dad. Anytime I sat down with him, I used to massage his feet.
Yeah.
And he would ask me, Carol, what is this disease
it?
that I ill from? That even doctors don't seem to have an answer for. That used to break me.
Yeah.
That used to break me. When my mother would ask me, and what kind of a disease is this?
What is really going on?
What is really going on? Their questions used to break us.
Yeah.
But we could not. And remember, you don't just go breaking, because after you tell them they have cancer, then what solution have you brought? There's no doctor who has accepted to say it. Still, my brothers were struggling to accept it.
Yeah.
There's no one who has really. So who you are saying is who? I mean, why? Then after you tell us, so
then
what are we supposed to do?
Oh.
So we actually told. We told our mom. Then I think after the funeral. 3 days after the funeral, it was my brother and I. So the day that we hung his photo on the wall, we sat down with my brother and we told her it has been cancer. We knew, but we couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
And she said, it is well.
Oh,
she's that kind of a woman.
She's that okay.
Yeah.
And you knew that also shows you knew her.
Yes.
You knew the kind of woman
and for our father, if we had told him, he would have resigned earlier. Because for him, he defied science for almost July, August, September, October, November. From July, August, September, October, November, December, and January. He defied science for 6 months. To a point, there is no doctor who would explain how he's still living when his lungs are collapsed.
All this time he's admitted?
No, he was at home. We were taking care of him at home. It was oxygen at home, like every day. It is my mom, my auntie, and my brother. Now that time he cannot lift himself. He cannot do anything for himself. It was home.
You were now his primary caregiver.
Yes, we were primary caregivers. And it's hectic, it's hell. If you've never been to hell, that is hell. Because even when you are far away, when I'm here in my house and they are home, any phone call, you are you're always worried.
Yes.
You're always wanting to know.
What's
you're always worried. How do I help mom? You know they are tired, carrying, and then he's in pain. He wants to be turned. He wants to be turned this side. His body is swollen. His wounds are not healing. He has bed sores. We bought anything and everything that could be bought.
Yeah.
Anything, and we thank God for even our friends. There are like 2 people who donated oxygen cylinders. There is someone who donated a mattress, the air mattress to prevent the bed sores. Our cousin who is a nurse there was always running up and down to make sure that he gets, and even that time he's still on medication. His feeding is, anyway, it was bad. But my biggest prayer was, please God, let him. So we started these conversations with my brothers on a WhatsApp group around October, and now I told them we have to share our feelings.
Yeah.
Today I'm feeling like this, you share. so that we can start sharing. So our group was, today I'm feeling bad, today I'm thinking about death, today I'm thinking about this. So we started talking about death for real, and I told them, you guys, this is for real. So even with my mom, I opened the discussion. My daughter got into depression around May. Serious depression. So I'm being called to school. That's how sometimes you not see me, sometimes you're not seeing me. I'm being called to school. Then the school is not understanding how we are saying she's depressed. Actually, let me tell you a testimony. The first time we went to shoot a video at Park University, there's a gentleman who came and said hi to me.
Yes, I remember you took photos
I took photos with him.
And he says, Mamurio. Mamurio. I remember him.
That was just before my daughter was diagnosed with depression. And this gentleman, I don't know him. I didn't know him, but apparently he follows me. And then he got the courage to come and say
hi, and you even took a photo.
And then he gave me his business card.
Yes.
He is a psychologist for teenagers.
Really?
So even my PS was told me, Carol, me, you are God, I don't know how he works.
Yes.
Like a week after I'm called to school, my daughter needs psychological help. Who do I call? That gentleman. He's the one who has worked with my daughter. Until at some point he told me, you have to take her to the grandfather. Because I had refused for her to see the grandfather losing, because he had really lost weight. So I thought I was protecting her. She got so depressed. When he gets sick this side, she would get sick from school this side. When his chest is congested, her chest would be congested. One day I just went. She went for therapy. I took her to see the Guka. And they met and they talked. Her chest just unblocked. She never got the physical illness. That was the day I realized this attachment is too deep. We came and sat here on the floor. I told her the truth. I told her, now, Guka doesn't have long to live. And I'm not saying he will die before me. I might die, that conversation. And I told her, we have to be ready. But I also need to teach you to start physically detaching from your Guka. And we cried and we prayed and we prayed and we have been praying and we have been going through the journey of like, you see, as a teenager, she doesn't know why she's feeling. Imagine if I'm going through anticipatory grief and I'm a grown up. Imagine our children. So my brother's children are younger. They would ask, so how come since we were born we were praying for God doesn't hear us? We've been praying for Guka, he's not getting better. Everyone in the family always gets those scary moments, but you never want to have this conversation. So I opened this discussion with even our children that Guka, what if that day will come that Guka will not be there? And I said, it's a healthy conversation, let's have it. So sometimes we would see it and my daughter is like, now imagine home without Guka. I'm like, we have to accept. And then we'd go home and cry. We'll just go home with my sisters-in-law and cry. And December was our breaking point. December is when now, even my sisters-in-law, I told them, you know what, you guys, your father-in-law is dying. So you have to accept it. And we sat down and we cried and cried and cried and cried. And we were like, God, let your will be done. Christmas was our saddest day for us as a family. We watched him in so much pain. We prayed, and then people started letting go of him from Christmas. And even him, he had prayed, please God, keep me up to Christmas. I see everyone, I bless them, and then I go. And indeed, he died on 16th of January. So the anticipatory grief for me died 4 days before my dad died. Like, I stopped mourning him like he's dying. On Thursday, I mourned him like he's dead.
Before he
My
died.
heart got a hole and I cried for him like he's dead. Literally, I went home, I could not see him. I cried and cried for him. He's dead. And that day, he actually told me, Carol, it's over. I told him, Daddy, it is not over until it's over. He told me, I'm telling you, it's over. I left home, I came here and just cried, locked myself up. I told Mom, now I'm done. My brother had gone through the same the day before, because we used to go in turns. He went on Wednesday, his heart crashed that Wednesday. Me, I went on Thursday with my other brother and it crashed. I locked myself and I said, God, now do whatever you want. But I mourned for him as if he's dead. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday I was asleep around 5 p.m. The angel of God woke me up and told me, Carol, go home. Run home. I said, no, I'm not going to see him. I'm not going home. I can go tomorrow. That angel was telling my brother as well. And everyone else. But somehow, he pushed me too much. Around 6, I woke up, I called my Uber guy. I got home and I realized my shirt was inside out and I was in slippers. But on my way, I remembered, my dad loves fish. I bought dry fried fish for everyone in the family. I got home and he was so happy. I was told by my mom, now your mother is here. And he said, oh, my mother, you are here. By that time, he's not even looking at you. He's just looking at that side. And I used to massage his head and I told him, I am here. But you know, when you have your mother, you have everything. And he told me, thank you. And I told him, I have brought you fish. Because he had not eaten. I brought you fish and I know you love fish. Please wake up. We eat. He sat down. We ate the fish together. He told me, because it's you, I'll eat the fish. He took one side of the fish, took some water. Then I told him, now I would like to take you to hospital. You remember he said no hospital from July. And he meant it. But my prayer was, please God, don't take him when he's at home. Take him. So because our home would be so... we would be going home and remembering him. His death. And indeed, God answered my prayer. I told him, I want to take you to hospital. He said, yes. He said, Carol, whatever you say, I'll do. We called, my brother was up and down running. The only hospital that was willing to admit him around that time was Kenyatta National Hospital. We thanked them. And so we secured a space at the private wing. And then he was dressed by mom and auntie. And he said, fine, I'm willing to go, but please pray for me. And he kept saying, pray for me, pray for me, pray for me. And then when we were waiting for the ambulance to come, because he said, if you carry me with a normal car, I will not make it. So we called for an ambulance, and home is far. So we got an ambulance. Before it got there, he told me, Carol, I would like to speak to you. And he died speaking English. My dad was speaking in English. It's like, who do I talk to? I told him, you can talk to me. I'm here. I'm your mother. He told me, I would want you to swear something to me. Told him, what do you want me to swear? And he lifted his hand. I told him. And then he started swearing. I asked him, you know, he was hilarious. Like, why are you swearing and you've told me to swear? Who is swearing? Then he swears. It's like, oh yeah, it's you. I want you to swear. I said, what? He told me, hold my hand. I held his hand and he told me. Then my mom walked in. And so my mom was a witness when the swearing in was going on. And he told me, I want you to promise me that you will be very brave and courageous and strong as you've always been. Because your father is dead. And it's going to be painful. I told him, but Daddy, you are not dead, you are here. He told me, I'm dying. I'm actually dead. And it's going to be painful.
How do you take that?
With a bold face, because you have to act strong. You have to be strong for him. Because even him, I could feel the kind of fear he was. Inside him, he was afraid he was leaving. And I told him, I promise you. He told me, no, swear. I told him, I swear I'll be strong, be brave, and I'll keep going. I told me, okay, pray for me. We prayed, we sang. The ambulance came, and before he left, before a few days earlier, he had told my mom, now I know you can live with a corpse. I know you are strong enough now. And when he was leaving the house, he told my mom, I'm gone, and I'm not coming back this time. By the time the ambulance guys saw him, they knew he was either dying or dead. And he's still talking, but there's a way when someone is dying, the few hours before someone dies, their face changes. If you look at them, you'll see glory. You'll see another glory. And then for him, he was talking to people. He's like, so now this will be my home. When you ask him, he'll come back. He'll tell you, no. So we went to Kenyatta, stayed there. The admission took almost 6 hours because even the doctors would look at him. Maybe I watched him die like this. There are those blank stares. All the signs were there. He has the oxygen machine, so I can see the pulse rate going down, blood pressure going down. And then he would call me and tell me he needs to go. And I'm like, yeah, you will go. We are waiting for the doctor. So then he didn't want the doctor to see him. And indeed, he died before the doctor saw him. He died. So I left him at around 4. Told him, I want you to sleep here. I went took him to the private wing. He literally left this world with nothing as he had desired. He told us, carry my clothes. We used to admit him so many times, but this time he told us, carry my clothes. He told me, where is my wallet? It had 5,000. He gave my brother 2,000, 4,000, and told him 2,000 is yours, 2,000 is for the last born, and 1,000 you take to your mother. Give us the wallet. He never used to, it still feels, I don't know. He loved he would always carry his phone and his wallet. He never gave those two things, but this time he told me, take this phone and you go give it to your mother. And then when we were leaving, we carried his clothes. Like, the only thing he was a staunch Catholic. And even the following day, when my brother, the firstborn brother, walked into his room and found him dead, the only thing he had was a rosary. Nothing else. He gave out everything. He planned for his funeral before he died. He didn't carry anything. And then he was just asleep as I had prayed to God. That was an answered prayer. Please, God, he has suffered so much. I used to tell my mom, his heart will just stop. And he'll be asleep when the heart will stop. And indeed, he was asleep when the heart stopped. So he was just sleeping. As my brothers tell me, and as everyone who saw him tell me, he was just asleep. He rested. That hits you. That resting hits you.
No matter how many times he had told you he's going, and
it doesn't matter how much I had prepared, it hits. It hits, and you don't know the kind of hole that you get here. I'm still sometimes holding on to this heart because it's so hollow. It's something choking. Every time I'm refusing to cry, like right now it is choking because I really don't want to cry. So I have to allow it to come out through tears. I keep talking about my dad like, blah, 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 blah. If you ever meet someone after they lose someone, even 20 years later, and they're just talking about him or her, they're not trying to nag you. They're just wanting to still hold on to those memories. So yes, grief still hits you proper. And grief is personal. What I'm going through is not what my brothers are going through. Neither is. I actually, on 24th, when we were burying my dad, and at the mortuary, when I told them I don't want to see my father, and some people were insisting. By the way, when someone is grieving, stop forcing them to follow the rules. There were people holding me, trying to force me, and I told them, everyone, leave me alone. When someone tells me, Caro, stop crying so much. You have to be strong for your mother. And I told them, excuse me, I'm mourning my father. She's mourning her husband. Let her mourn her husband. How she knows this is my father. Don't tell me not to be strong for my mother. She has the strength to mourn her husband. I have the strength to mourn her father. So leave me alone. Oh no, you should view the body for closure. Who says? Don't force things,
your beliefs
into someone when they don't believe in it, and you don't understand their reason. When someone is grieving, have a reason for everything. When someone is holding onto their clothes, this is my dad's blanket. I had given him 5 months before he died. I used to cover him with it. I still hold on to it. I've not washed it. I have my own reasons why I have not watched it. So maybe that is the only memory I have. Allow me to go through all the stages. For someone who could be asking some of the stages, the first one, most of the time, it never has a flow. And then it keeps coming back. It can flow anyhow. However, the acceptance is the final one later, but it even sometimes acceptance comes in between. I think the last 30-something days from the day my dad went, I have gone through them like this. So there's denial. There's bargaining, negotiation. When you start negotiating with God, or maybe he shouldn't. There's depression. There are moments you're just depressed. There's anger. I think the anger and depression comes. Then you're angry at death. You're angry at God. You're angry at the dead. Then you're angry at yourself. Then you're angry at the people who are holding you. You're angry at the camera person. You're angry at God knows what. You're even angry at the air. Like right now, I'm angry at the sun. It's too hot. The heat is too much. Did it have to be now? And then, of course, there is acceptance. However, they can keep coming like this.
You can accept, then go back to your angry.
Actually, I can accept, and then the 5 minutes later, I'm back to my depression, or back to my anger, or back to my negotiation. So it is very important to be patient with the process. And when it hits, if the depression season lasts longer than any other, you need help. You need to go through.
How long should it last?
Like, for example, if you're depressed for a whole month, how do you know you're depressed? You don't feel like eating, not like what I'm going through, because I haven't eaten. First of all, last year, because of the stress that I went through, my body was a mess. My body was a mess. So I needed to fast immediately as a way of giving back to myself. I fast. You asked me with spiritual fasting, but it's the other one.
And you told me you don't even want to talk to God right now. But you know the positive part of that sentence or that statement is you still know He's God. You just don't talk to Him right now. I was telling Him,
I don't want to talk to you, but I know you are here with me.
You still acknowledge Him. And because he's your dude.
He knows
guy. He knows what you're going
through. I really talk to you. I live alone here, so I'll walk here. Sometimes naked, talking to him. Anyway, so now...
You always give too much information. Even when we are trying to have a very...
Even when we are grieving.
Yeah.
No, but I'm glad. I know I was prepared. I was sure I would cry.
Yeah,
and you had my service there. Yes. I'm glad I've not been able to cry.
But so crying glad. Is not bad.
Yes, but like my father, my father used to hold on to pain like this, like a man. I'm also like that. Maybe most likely I'll cry after this.
Oh yeah,
and it's a good thing. So I was fasting to help my body recover, and it's not that it is okay as a Christian to have a hard moment of prayer. That desert moment,
it's okay.
It's very okay. So I'm having that desert moment. The only prayer I'm able to do is the Lord's Prayer. But I know I have a whole battalion of people praying for me. Oh my God, thank you so much, guys, have been praying for me. And it's a process. So I'm going through it and I'm allowing myself to go through it.
Are you going through therapy? Do you think you need therapy?
No, I'll know when I need therapy. And even if I needed, I have like 3 psychologists on call.
Oh, okay.
And,
okay. Another very selfish statement. We miss Carol.
I know.
You miss her too?
I miss my laughter. I miss that. I miss having something. Like, if you ask me what I want to eat, I no longer know what I want to eat. I don't have tamaa. Like, I don't crave anything. I sometimes I'm going to my wardrobe, I'm looking for any clothes to wear. I don't know which one to wear. So I live with Deras. I've tried going to the crowd 3 times and I feel so out of place. I don't know. I miss me. But I'm allowing me to go through this. Isn't that a sign of depression?
Because you told me.
A sign.
Those are signs of depression. You described the signs you once gave me.
So you think I need therapy? So one thing that has kept me going is from November when I watched my mom struggle because as a caregiver, we didn't know. My mom would get those moments, and my brother and my auntie, we can't take them to a hospital because they are not sick. But they are fatigued. They are depressed because I don't want to overuse the word depression. we didn't know where to take them. We would take them to our restaurant. They would feel better 1 minute. So from November, I had a conversation with my dad. I told him what my desire was. From early enough, I wanted to do something for the caregiver. Yeah. But I didn't know God was holding it so that I could feel the pain, so that I could be a true caregiver. So I started preparing to build a center. It's an old homestead that we just renovated, and it will be launched before the end of this month. It is a place. This Feb is a center in Rongai, Kenya. A center where, a caregiver, or you who is not a caregiver but you're tired. Yeah. You know, people are tired out here. Yes. You want to go to a place. It's not a restaurant. It's not a rehabilitation center. It's not a rehabilitation center. Just need to come and take 2 days. There's someone who will serve you food, healthy food, of course.
Yes, of course.
Juices, smoothies, porridge.
This is what we'll come to drink.
Yes, then we'll give you some exercises, some breathing exercise. We have a spa room. I should take you there with a camera one of these days. There's massage. There's just a place to rest. You see the way when you came here, you said it's quiet. Yeah. It's peaceful.
It's peaceful.
We have created...
The air...
I've created such space for someone. You can come and pay a minimal amount. It is
what's the minimal amount that the minimal time I can be there?
1 day.
1 day. One day is 24 hours.
It doesn't have to be 24 hours. If you feel you want to come from morning to evening, then leave. It's okay. But then we'll have a package for 1 day, morning to the following morning or to the following day. Then we can have 2 days. We have group therapy. We have space even for group therapy. So in the center, we have a therapist to take you through any therapy sessions that you need. We will have grief counselor so that we can help people take through the grief season. Another thing that we struggled with was when we took mom away and dad was left alone. So we have home care service providers who are professional medical home care providers who, when a caregiver comes to our center, we will send home a home care nurse to take care of the patient, because this is specifically for the caregiver. So we can take the caregiver away for 2 days. Then we'll have a nurse taking care of the patient for 2 days. Then when the caregiver goes back, they'll have the energy to do this. To continue doing this. So it's a place, it's also a place where it's open to come and just come and relax and also learn.
Come and sleep?
Yes, it is actually, we have accommodation for more than 28 people.
I just sleep.
But I don't, the current situation, we will not be accommodating very sick people. We cannot do, it's not a hospital. It is someone who still has the energy, the strength. We have accommodation for 28 people. You can even come as a chama. You can come just to relax. And we have limited access to electronics. It's a retreat. So don't expect to come and find a TV. Don't expect to come and...
I'm still going. Jemma's already given up with your ending. I'll still go. I
don't
can go
come
with my
and
phone.
expect you will be like this throughout. We will have sessions for you that you will have to keep away the phone.
What's the age limit?
Age in terms of the young ones.
Can a teen come?
Yes, because we have so many sick teens. Yes,
or even grieving teens, right?
Teens, yes. And then when a family goes through the whole process, when they lose a patient and they lose a loved one, we have a team that is trained and that is going through training so that they can be able to learn how to come in and help the family. Help you in terms of doing the eulogy, doing the portrait, choosing the flowers, doing all these things.
Like planning?
Yes, a funeral directors. Funeral directors. Like event organizers, but specifically for funerals. Then after the funeral, we have grief sessions with the family so that we can take... Because when I was that weak and broken, there are things I wished I would have done for my dad. But I was not able to do it physically. So I was sending my friends. So we have a team that we come and sit down with you and you tell us, what would you have wanted to do for your loved one? Then we'll do the errands for you. We'll dress you, we'll do this, we'll take you to the coffin center, we'll do this, so that you can be able to celebrate your life. So the center is called Healing. H-E-Y. Healing. Yes, Healing Oasis.
Healing Oasis.
Yes, Healing Oasis.
In Rongai.
In Rongai.
But you're launching this month, right?
Yes, in the next 2 weeks. No, next week,
you
actually.
You should go there. The first one.
Oh, yes, I'm going there. My mom,
yes,
myself, and several of my team members, because my R&B team has held, they have the last 2 months, they have held me together. Yeah. So they also, some of them need, not some, all of them need therapy. So yes, I will be one of the first people to spend there. I'll spend like 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yes, I'll spend like 2 weeks.
You'll make us all come there.
Yes.
Is there privacy?
Privacy in terms of?
In terms of you, like Caro is there. Mm-hmm. You've come to sleep, to rest, to grieve, to, you know. Mm-hmm. And then Rawder comes, Caro. Yes, and it's a compound. It's a big compound. We have 2 gazebos. Okay. We have a spa room and we have 3 rooms. Okay. We have I think I should invite you. Come with the camera. Have to come.
But the sleeping space is shared. You will see. It, I never do normal things. I do weird things. Yes.
No, you want to give me reasons to come, not to come.
Yes.
Meaning, like the way boarding school is. We all sleep in the same place.
You come with the camera, see.
I will come.
You come with the camera.
Guys, make sure you follow us on social media, on Facebook. Our details are down here. Carol, your health coach as well, so that when we go with cameras, you actually get to see the photos.
Exactly. You come in the camera, and that is the center where I also, now it's a combination of Health Sister Foundation, Healing Rain, and R&B. So it's a non-profit. It's to give back to the society. Okay. So if anyone feels like they would want to come and volunteer, come and donate. You can donate whatever you have in kind, in cash, in whatever way. Yes, we have a place. We are getting wigs for the cancer patients who've lost their hair, prosthesis, all those things. Okay. Yes.
Wow, I'll have to go there.
So my pain has given birth to that. Yes.
And is it in honor?
Yes, it is in honor of my mom and in memory of my father. Oh. Yes. Oh. So my mom is the one we are honoring because we need to honor her when she's alive. Yes. 40 years of being a caregiver is no big deal. It's not a small thing. Yes. 40 years. From the day she was married to 40 years she has been married to my dad. She was a caregiver to my grandmother, my grandfather, myself, another auntie in between, and now my dad. That's an honor. We honor her. So if you'd want to honor my mom, please come.
Bring your friends, bring your family.
Yes. During the launch, we are launching on 29th of February, and we're inviting people to come.
That is on Thursday.
Because February is also the World Cancer Prevention Month, and this month we are doing. We are concluding the month with that. Yeah. So you come. We will charge 2,500 for only Kenya shillings for 2,500 to feed you some good food, also to spend, and then 50% of that will go to the center. Yeah. Wow. So I've come to learn because this I want to encourage someone who is going through a certain kind of pain. That every pain always comes back with something. Yes. That's something I need to encourage someone. Every pain. And I've started a series on my TikTok, Caro Your Health Coach. Yeah. Wamurio. A series where I'm sharing my grief journey. Yeah. And this is the first time I'm on camera. I had refused to do camera stuff.
That's why I'm telling you,
kept pushing me like this to you. So thank you for coming.
Thank you
I had refused to do
for
camera.
Sharing this.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we miss you, but we know God is working in you and you'll be back.
I'll be back.
Better and stronger. Yes. You're actually back. You're already launching things, And you're a strong woman. You are a strong woman.
Good.
We pray that the Lord's presence will be with you.
Amen.
Whether you want it or not,
it has to be.
He is omnipresent. He is here, and that He will strengthen you. And even through this, you will look back and say, through the pain, that just as you've said, this was birthed. God did this through that season. God is with you.
Amen.
He's still on the throne.
Amen.
He's aware. He sees. Amen. He knows, and He's still at work.
Amen.
So more comfort. May He continue comforting you, wiping away your tears together with your mother and your family.
And allow me to tell our viewer. grieving and crying for someone doesn't mean you are holding on to them. I've released my dad, he's gone.
Yeah.
But I'm grieving the love, the physical.
Yeah.
So don't feel guilty to cry. Just cry.
Cry.
Yeah, and grieve him.
And grieve. Okay. We have understood. Doesn't mean that you haven't let go.
Yeah, there are people who keep telling you, oh, no, you're holding on to him. Oh, you have to let him go.
So if you stop crying, you've let him go.
Which is a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're still learning. Thank you so much. Really appreciate. Thank you for having us here.
Most welcome.
And yeah, thank you for sharing that part of your story. It's also good to know these strong women we see outside here, they go through stuff.
Yeah, we go through stuff behind these cameras.
Yeah, they go through stuff.
What you go through behind the cameras.
They're weak, they're tired, they feel like giving up.
That's why sometimes it's very sad when someone watches and they write so many evil, bad comments and you're thinking, I'm human. I'm human.
Yeah, you know. But it's okay. God is also giving us thick skin for 2024. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you've learned or any words you have for us. For any more information as well, you know where to get us. The first comment on every video I have done with Caro has all the contacts to her shops, to her products, and you can access all that information even on this video. Thank you for watching. If you're grieving right now, we are praying for comfort. If you're watching this and you're in a very bad place, we pray that the presence of the Lord will remind you that he is still on the throne. Thank you for your support as well. If you haven't subscribed, we are on the road to 100,000. Please go ahead and subscribe. That will mean a lot to us. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
This is the Rawder Kidula Show.